You've watched countless motivational videos. You've read the books. You've set the goals. But something's still missing. Today, we're going beyond surface-level motivation to unlock the hidden psychology of championship performance. What I'm about to share isn't another generic hustle harder lecture. It's a masterclass in elite mental conditioning drawn from the pressure cooker of Super Bowl preparation. These aren't just theories. They're battle-tested principles that separate champions from the countless talented individuals who never reach their potential. The next 10 minutes will revolutionize how you approach discipline and self-improvement. But first, let me ask you, are you truly ready to think like a champion, or are you just pretending to be? Here's the uncomfortable truth most men face. We're living in an age of unprecedented opportunity, yet we're more stuck than ever. Look around. Your peers are launching businesses, building wealth, and creating impact while you're still trying to find the motivation to start. The problem isn't knowledge, it's execution. You've become a master of planning but a novice at action. Like a backup quarterback who knows the playbook by heart but freezes under real pressure, you're trapped in analysis paralysis. Every Monday becomes another fresh start, every evening another promise to do better tomorrow. But this cycle of motivation without discipline is slowly killing your potential, day by day, decision by decision. The foundation of championship thinking isn't built on motivation. It's built on systematic psychological triggers that force action before doubt can creep in. Let me introduce you to what I call the Champion's Morning Protocol, a method that's not about waking up at 4 a.m., but about rewiring your decision-making patterns at a fundamental level. What separates elite performers isn't their morning routine, it's their morning psychology. They understand that willpower isn't a resource to be managed. It's a muscle to be strengthened through strategic stress and recovery. This is where the 4-minute mindset drill becomes your secret weapon. The moment you wake up, before touching your phone or thinking about your to-do list, you're going to execute what Special Forces operators call immediate action drills. Start with 60 seconds of controlled breathing, 4 counts in, 6 counts out. This isn't meditation. It's psychological preparation for battle. During the next 60 seconds, you're going to perform any physical movement that breaks your body's morning resistance pattern. It could be push-ups, jumping jacks, or even intense shadow boxing. The key isn't the exercise. It's the act of immediate physical domination over mental resistance. For the third minute, you'll use what behavioral psychologists call identity reinforcement. Stand in front of a mirror and verbally declare 3 specific actions you'll complete before noon that align with your championship identity. These aren't goals, they're commitments. The final minute is devoted to what I call pressure visualization. Unlike traditional visualization where you imagine success, you're going to vividly imagine the consequences of failing to act. Feel the weight of regret, the sting of mediocrity, the pain of watching others succeed while you remain stuck. This controlled exposure to psychological pressure inoculates you against the fear that typically derails discipline later in the day. This protocol works because it attacks the root cause of inconsistency, the gap between morning motivation and daily execution. Elite athletes don't rely on feeling motivated. They create systems that make discipline automatic. By implementing this 4-minute sequence, you're not just starting your day. You're triggering a cascade of neurological patterns that make self-improvement inevitable rather than optional. What if I told you that pressure isn't your enemy? It's actually the missing ingredient in your pursuit of excellence. Most men spend their lives trying to avoid pressure, but champions understand how to weaponize it. This is where the concept of strategic pressure application revolutionizes your approach to discipline and self-improvement. Think about the greatest quarterbacks in Super Bowl history. They didn't just handle pressure, they thrived on it. They created an environment where pressure became their competitive advantage. You're about to learn how to do the same thing in your own life. The first step is implementing what I call the accountability matrix. This isn't about finding an accountability partner. It's about creating a system of progressive tension that makes backing down more painful than pushing forward. Start by setting up what special operations units call tripwires, predetermined points throughout your day where you must perform or pay a price. These aren't arbitrary deadlines. They're psychological checkpoints that force decisive action. For instance, if you haven't completed your most important task by 10 a.m., You immediately transfer $100 to an accountability holder who will donate it if you don't finish by noon. This isn't about the money. It's about creating real-world consequences that override your brain's natural tendency to procrastinate. Next, you'll implement the pressure ladder technique. Instead of trying to tackle your biggest challenges head-on, you'll strategically expose yourself to increasing levels of pressure through what psychologists call graduated exposure. Start by putting yourself in slightly uncomfortable situations daily, whether that's speaking up in meetings, initiating conversations with strangers, or taking on visible projects at work. Each week, you'll escalate the pressure by 10%. This systematic approach to pressure builds psychological resilience while maintaining forward momentum. The final component is what I call productive fear cultivation. Most men try to eliminate fear, but champions learn to harness it. Create a daily practice of identifying your biggest fear and taking one small action that directly confronts it. This isn't about being reckless. It's about developing a relationship with fear that transforms it from a paralyzing force into rocket fuel for growth. The dirty secret of championship performance isn't just about pushing harder. It's about mastering what elite performers call strategic recovery. While everyone else is burning out trying to maintain constant intensity, you're about to learn the advanced recovery protocols that separate the elite from the average. This isn't about taking breaks. It's about engineering your recovery for maximum psychological advantage. The first principle of elite recovery is understanding the high-performance rest cycle. Most men think recovery means collapsing on the couch with Netflix, but this passive recovery actually weakens your discipline muscle. Instead, you need to implement what sports psychologists call active recovery windows. Every 90 minutes of intense focus should be followed by a 15-minute period of deliberate recovery activities. This could be dynamic stretching, controlled breathing exercises, or what Navy SEALs call box breathing, a specific pattern that resets your nervous system and primes you for the next push. But here's where most men miss the opportunity. These recovery periods are actually prime times for mental rehearsal, the secret weapon of championship performance. During these windows, you'll execute a specific visualization sequence I call future state programming. Instead of just imagining success, you're going to mentally rehearse the specific decision points where discipline typically fails. You'll visualize the moment your alarm goes off, the instant when your workout gets difficult, the point when distractions threaten your focus. But here's the crucial difference. You're not just visualizing pushing through. You're programming your nervous system with specific response patterns. This is the same technique used by elite special forces operators to maintain peak performance under extreme pressure. The final component of elite recovery is what I call momentum banking. Most men try to maintain constant forward progress, but champions understand the power of strategic regression. They know how to take one step back to launch 3 steps forward. This means deliberately scheduling what I call reset days, not rest days, but strategic periods where you audit your systems, recalibrate your approach, and prepare for an even more intensive push forward. This isn't about lowering standards. It's about optimizing your psychological infrastructure for sustained excellence. When you start implementing these championship principles, something remarkable happens. It's not just about achieving more. It's about becoming someone who makes achievement inevitable. Within weeks, you'll notice a fundamental shift in how you approach challenges. The discipline that once required constant willpower becomes your default operating system. Your peers will notice the change before you do. They'll see how you attack Monday mornings with the same intensity others reserve for Friday afternoons. Your decision-making becomes sharper, your energy more focused, your results more consistent. This isn't just self-improvement, it's total psychological transformation. You're not just building better habits, you're engineering an entirely new relationship with excellence. Just like what we witnessed in Super Bowl 59 yesterday, when those final seconds ticked down, both the Eagles and Chiefs had practiced the same plays and put in the same hours. But champions emerged through mental mastery when it mattered most. Now it's your turn. For the next 12 days, implement this championship system with that same Super Bowl intensity. 4 days for the champion's morning protocol, 4 for strategic pressure application, and 4 for elite recovery methods. Document your journey and share your transformation in the comments below. Subscribe to join men who refuse mediocrity. The same field that crowned champions yesterday reminds us, greatness isn't about talent, it's about taking action when others just watch. Your clock isn't just ticking, it's running. Your championship season starts now.